If he reads one sloka, his life will be successful. If he reads one sloka, one word, this is such nice thing.
Beyond the cage, Dr. Singh. But doesn't the living entity need matter as long as he is in material nature? Srila Prabhupada. No. The living entity is purely spiritual. Therefore, he doesn't require matter. Because his thinking is diseased, however, he believes he does. The conditioned living entity is like a drunkard who doesn't require drinking, but who nevertheless thinks, quote, without drinking, I shall die, end quote. This is called Maya, or illusion. Is it true that if a drunkard doesn't get his drink, he will die? Dr. Singh. No, but if a man doesn't eat, he will die. Srila Prabhupada. That's also not a fact. Last night we were discussing Raghunath Das Goswami. In his later life, he almost completely abstained from eating and sleeping. He would drink only a little buttermilk every 3 or 4 days, and he worked 24 hours a day, sleeping 2 or 3. On some days he did not sleep at all. So you may ask, quote, how could he survive, end quote. Actually, he lived for 100 years. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending were not problems for Raghunath Das Goswami. But still, he lived. Because he was a pure devotee of Krishna, he was fully aware that the soul is eternal and independent, although it had been put into this bodily cage, which it actually does not require. Suppose a bird is encaged. Is he living simply because he is in the cage? Without the cage, he is free. People are thinking that being encaged within the body means they are happy. That is nonsense. Actually, our engagement within this body makes us fearful. But as soon as we purify our existence, we do not even have to come out of our bodies. We will immediately become abhay, fearless. Brahma bhuta prashanatma nasochati nakankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu magbatim labate param. We can immediately awaken to our original spiritual existence, in which there is no more fear, no more lamentation, and no more material desire. Dr. Singh. But the scientists would still want more explanations as to how the living entity can be independent of matter. Srila Prabhupada. As long as you're conditioned, you are dependent on matter. For example, a man from Africa is conditioned because he cannot tolerate this cold weather. Therefore, he feels discomfort. But there are many people here, gesturing towards children playing on the beach, who are not affected by the cold. The ability to tolerate is simply a question of conditioning. When you are conditioned, you think in terms of dualities, like hot and cold, pain and pleasure. But when you are liberated, you have no such conditioned thoughts. Spiritual life means to become unconditioned, come to the Brahma-bhuta stage. That is the perfection of life. Being conditioned means that although the living entity is eternal, due to his conditioning, he thinks that he is born, he is dying, he is diseased, and he is old. But an unconditioned person is not even old. Krishna is described in Brahma Samhita as a Dvaitam Achyutam Adadi Vedanta Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanamcha. This means that he is the oldest person, the first person, but that he has no old age. He always appears just like a young man of 20, because he is fully spiritual.